Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport, just in the office again. So I want to do a video on this. So I contacted my attorney, Doug Rose. He says really nothing I can do or we could do as far as filing any discrimination lawsuits or anything. This isn't about money. It's about our rights, our freedoms. So what I did was, he still said he's going to look for a legal a legal end to it somehow. So he's a great attorney. But anyways, I also want to apologize to my wife Sarah. Hi baby, I love you. She had said that N95s were considered respirators, and I said no, but I was wrong. I'm sorry. But anyways, so this still just sticks in my throat. I mean, super bad. So being that we live in Kenosha, Wisconsin, I went on the Wisconsin statute site, and I was thinking, if one is charged with endangering public safety, it's a felony. I know because I've been charged for it in the past. I'm not a felon. Obviously, I've carried, conceal, and I own weapons, but I had a good attorney, Michael Backus. But anyways, so I'm quite aware of the legal system, I guess, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not wearing it like a badge of honor. I'm just saying I've been around the block. But anyway, so I went on Wisconsin's website, and I'll grab my readers in a second. But so anyways, Wisconsin Statutes 94.30 recklessly endangering safety. So, first degree recklessly endangering safety. Whoever recklessly endangers another's safety under circumstances which show utter disregard for human life is guilty of a Class F felony. Second degree recklessly endangering safety. Whoever recklessly endangers another's safety is guilty of Class G felony. I had no idea that there was felonies went up that high. Anyways, so that's, I mean, if you guys really, I mean, people that are sitting here reading scripture and doing this bullshit and this and that and talking about, yeah, they're coming after our rights. Well, start doing something about it, man. Contact an attorney in your state, or start thinking outside the box. Because if your state is encouraging or requiring mandatory face masks, like Menards is here in the Midwest, which if you're not from around here, Menards is like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and they're making masks, or they've made masks mandatory. Verizon Wireless has made masks mandatory. So are they guilty of endangering our public safety? I would say yes. So I also went on and looked up OSHA's regulations for, let me grab my readers. Sucks when you get old and your eyesight gets bad. So, I went on and looked on OSHA's site for Wisconsin, and here's the breakdown. So you have respirators. A respirator is a device, and I was a general contractor. Everybody should know what a respirator is. A respirator is a device that protects employees, and this also applies to people that are working and you're required to wear a mask. So if you're required to wear a mask, OSHA, which, if people don't know, it's the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. It's an acronym for OSHA, which OSHA is all safety in the workplace. So if you're at work, I'm self-employed. But if you're required by your employer to wear a cloth mask or a paper mask, just taking a drink of water, sorry. They're basically recklessly endangering your safety. So I'll continue to read here. A respirator is a device that protects employees from inhaling particles or other dangerous substances. Usually they are fitted closely to the user's face and do not allow airflow to flow between the sides of the mask and the user's face. The whole idea is that the air should only flow through the mask and thus filter the air. Masks such as N95 masks are considered respirators, and that's where I apologize to my wife. Sorry, baby. Respirators are subject to the OSHA respirator protection standard, which requires respirators when necessary to protect the health of an employee as well, as well as OSHA PPE standard. Now, they also go and they contradict themselves here. PPE, a loose-fitting mask that is not intended to filter air, such as a surgical mask, is not considered a respiratory or a respirator because it does not filter the air. Surgical masks are, however, still subject to the OSHA PPE standard, which requires proper protection if necessary to prevent a job-related injury or impairment. So they contradict themselves there by saying surgical masks are not a respirator, right? And the only thing that filters air properly is a respirator. But PPE, they say a loose-fitting mask that is not intended to filter air, which a surgical mask I would expect we wear it because you want it to filter the air, right? So a loose-fitting mask that is not intended to filter air, such as a surgical mask, is not considered a respirator because it does not filter the air. So if you guys watch the Crow House, or if you guys subscribe to the Crow House channel, he had a picture on one of his videos where slaves were wearing masks. And then he had the current pictures of us, well, not me, but the monkeys out there wearing their masks. So wear your mask, monkey. Stand on that zero, monkey. Step on that X, monkey. So anyways, so that there, okay, so we read I read the respirators and then the PPE. But there is a third category of masks, cloth face coverings, like bandanas or other homemade cloth coverings that are not regulated by OSHA. Homemade and improvised masks. As more and more government and business entities now require face coverings in public and business settings, many individuals are making their own face coverings or masks. Like a surgical mask, a homemade or improvised, now it says right here, like a surgical mask, a homemade or improvised face covering is also loose-fitting over the mouth and nose and is not intended to filter air. Recent OSHA guidelines, you can click on it. However, notes that improvised masks are not PPE. CDC guidance, and certain Cal OSHA guidance also note the same. As such, they should not be subject to OSHA's respirator protection standard or PPE standard. So I'm lost on this because OSHA, which is kind of they're like the law of the land when it comes to work environments for safety and so on and so on, extension cords and ladders and harnesses and so on and so on and so on and so on. So OSHA should be the actual regulation, not CDC, when it comes to wearing a respirator, an N95 mask, a cloth mask, or a bandana, or a paper mask. That should be the law of the land because OSHA, that's what covers your workplace safety. I'm just so pissed off at this, man. It's just crazy. All right, so is there a difference if an employer requires employees to wear loose-fitting face masks or merely permits employees to wear loose-fitting face masks? I guess same thing. Yes, there are significant differences between requiring employees to wear masks and permitting employees to wear masks. That sounds weird. Yes, there are significant differences between requiring employees to wear masks and permitting employees to wear masks. Okay, gotcha. Even if the employer provides a mask to the employees. Under the OSHA PPE standard, which applies to all PPE, including surgical masks, if an employer requires employees to wear PPE, the employer must perform a hazard assessment, consider other, identify and provide appropriate PPE for employees, train employees in the use and care of PPE, clean and replace PPE as needed, and create a plan that is periodically reviewed. However, if the employer allows the employees to voluntarily wear the surgical mask, none of these rules apply. Even if the employer pays for the masks and provides them to the employees, it can still be a voluntary program. The employer should tell the employees, preferably in writing, that the masks are not required and that wearing one is voluntary. OSHA has not provided explicit guidance regarding requirements, if any, for the use of homemade or improvised face coverings, except the reference to the CDC guidelines. So CDC is endangering your public safety by trying to implement all this. So we got that. I'm going to go over a few other things. Now, the reason why I'm saying that it's recklessly endangering safety. The reason why I printed that out was not necessarily for the OSHA regulations, but it's basically from your work. And like I said, OSHA is basically stating here that any mask other than a respirator is acceptable, or is unacceptable. I'm sorry. So now let's get to the meat of it. So I went on CDC's official site, and what does it say here? How to make cloth face coverings to help and slow spread. Okay. Now, so I clicked on it, and they actually have how to make cloth face coverings, which don't filter air. They don't filter the air. So why would they want us to wear a mask that is redundant? It doesn't filter the air. The only thing that will filter the air is a respirator. So how is that possible? They make no sense. They're totally contradicting everything that they're saying. Now, so that's that, so on and so on. Now, this is also from the CDC site, which I don't get it. So they have a person here wearing a bandana, which OSHA says that's not acceptable. It does not filter the air, but yet it's on the CDC website. Now, here, once again, if you're wearing a mask, shame on you, first off, but avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. So why aren't they making you guys wear goggles? Because it says right here in the CDC site, avoid touching eyes and nose, and it says it is possible to contract it by touching your eyes. So therefore, if your company is going off of the CDC standards or the CDC requirements, then your company is endangering your public safety, your personal safety. And they obviously are just the sheeps, just standing in line and social conforming. So you need to start going after your company saying, listen, man, you're endangering our public safety here, man. You can't it's these masks. And this is not why I did the recklessly endangering your safety. Is not this. I'm just saying this is redundant that you're wearing the masks. And everybody's saying, oh, masks don't work. Masks don't work. Masks do work. Masks don't. But I haven't seen anybody print anything out and actually explain it. Everybody just says, oh, yeah, show the proof, man. Show the proof. Don't just read scripture and don't just do this and don't just print it up, man. Explain it to the people. Print it up. So we're going to get to the meat of it here shortly. All right. So it also says here that you at least once a day clean and disinfect surfaces frequently touched by multiple people. This includes door handles, desks, phones, lights, switches, and faucets, etc., etc., etc. So if you are a person or a company like, Dirtbag Menards or Shitbag Verizon that is making these masks mandatory. So what I did was I reached out to Verizon yesterday, and I still have not. I asked them what is my contract, because if you guys saw my video last Saturday, they told me I couldn't come in the store unless I had a mask because their protocol is mandatory masks, and I'm not doing that. So I was pretty ticked off, and I'm still ticked off. So I contacted Verizon yesterday and told them, hey, I want a copy of my contract, my contract with you guys, to see what their obligation is to me and to see what my obligation is to them. I also asked them to send me or email me the protocol for their employees wearing masks, because they should have it in writing. And me as a customer, a contracted customer, not just any Joe Schmo customer, but a contracted customer. So they have different obligations to me as they would somebody who just walks in the door saying that it's with, T-Mobile or cellular, whatever, US Cellular or whatever. So I'm a contracted customer. So it should apply to me differently than those people. So also I asked them to send me an email on what their sanitation protocol is for this type of stuff. At least once a day, clean and disinfect. So if you're requiring me as a customer to make me endanger my public safety by wearing and by mandating that I must wear a mask to enter your store, and I get it, they have the right to refuse service to anybody. However, my brother Stevie, he brought it to my attention. He said, yeah, but you're under contract. That's different. So you're not just an average Joe. Very true. So you're endangering my safety, and I'll get to why they're endangering your public safety. It's not, you don't have to go into their stores, obviously, right? But now if you work for them and they tell you it's mandated you have to wear a mask, that's a completely different scenario. Because they're forcing you, hey, listen, you're not going to have a job if you don't comply. Hey, monkey, stand in that X. Hey, monkey, stand in that circle. Hey, monkey, stay 6 feet away. Hey, monkey, put your mask on. Hey, monkey, take your mask off. Hey, monkey, you can clock in. Hey, monkey, you can clock out. So on and so on and so on. We're monkeys at the end of the day, and I'm sick of it. So if they're telling you this and you just saw the OSHA guidelines, start printing up your ocean rights, man, your ocean guidelines, and saying, listen, this is the only thing that's acceptable. You guys are just having us wear masks because the sheeple or the upper echelon says we have to wear masks. And like I said, I'm going to get to the reason why they're endangering your public safety. So, and of course, I spent a lot of time over the week, not a lot of time, just a few hours going over this kind of stuff. And then obviously the virus may spread in other ways. And then right here it says, it may be possible that a person can get the COVID by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it and then touching their own mouth, nose, or possibly their eyes. This is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads, but we are still learning more about how this virus spreads. And if you notice, I don't know or when you do print this stuff up or you do start looking into this stuff and stop being a monkey, you will notice that everything they say, it says it may stop, it may prevent, it may do this, it may do that. There's nothing scientific about it except for a respirator. And I don't even know if they might have even said the same thing about respirators. It may stop, but I'm pretty sure a respirator is because it has filters and it's a sealed piece of equipment, like a gas mask when we were in the military. So this is the reason why they're endangering your public safety. It's the effects of too much carbon dioxide in the blood. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is a gas that always is always present in your blood. It is the waste product generated as your body uses up oxygen, and it is expelled from the lungs when you exhale. At normal levels, its presence has no measurable adverse effects on you. But if your breathing is compromised or you are exposed to large amounts of this gas, you can experience a wide range of side effects, some of which include permanent injury and death. Now, wearing that mask all day, you're constantly inhaling your own carbon dioxide. That's where they're endangering your public safety. Now, it says poisoning have been linked to central nervous system damage and permanent deterioration of respiratory functions. Because of these findings, CO2 is considered not just a simple asphyxiant, but a gas with acute systemic effects as well. If your blood, I gotta put my readers on. I'm sorry, guys. I think I can read everything without my readers. If your blood becomes saturated with too much CO2, you develop the condition known as hypercapnia. Increased levels of CO2 also affect the pH level of your blood, turning it more acidic. This condition is called acidemia, I'm sorry. And if prolonged, causes acidosis, which is injury of the blood cells by a rise in acidity that leads to faltering functions of the heart. Some possible outcomes of the interference with your heart include blood pressure and cardiac arrhythmia. And then it goes to nerve damage or permanent nerve damage brought on by the acidemia and include delirium, hallucinations, seizures, respiratory failure, coma, or death. As an asphyxiant, carbon dioxide displaces breathable oxygen and impairs pulmonary gas exchange, which asphyxiation is commonly associated with choking on a physical object or drowning. You can suffocate on CO2 without any visible abnormality or obstruction of your breathing. If the oxygen content of the air you breathe is insufficient, you slowly suffocate due to selective oxygen depletion until you experience permanent damage or death. Causes of low carbon dioxide in the blood. The trillions of cells that make up your blood metabolize food molecules to generate energy. The metabolism yields carbon dioxide, CO2, as byproduct. Your body rids itself of excess CO2 via your lungs when you exhale. A small amount, however, remains in your blood and plays an important role in maintaining the acid-base balance of your bloodstream. A low blood CO2 level occurs with several conditions, some relatively harmless and others more serious. Persistently, which if you're constantly wearing a mask, it's going to be persistent. A persistently low CO2 level to ongoing hyperventilation can occur with a variety of medical conditions and situations, including travel to high altitude, head injury, brain trauma, infection of the brain or spinal fluid, heart failure, pneumonia, blood clot in the lungs, pulmonary embolism, overactive thyroid gland, hyperthyroidism, high fever. Pregnancy. This is a normal, harmless change during pregnancy. Obviously, if it's in a low dosage like that. Excess blood acids. Excess acids in your bloodstream drive down your blood CO2 level. This occurs with conditions that increase acid production in your body and with ingestion and certain types of medications or toxic substances. Examples include diabetic ketoacidosis, alcoholic whatever, I'm not even going to say shock, a serious condition, blah, 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 excessive bicarbonate loss, you might call from high school, college last suffer refers to, okay, that's, all right. What it feels like. A sudden drop in your blood CO2 level due to hyperventilation typically causes an array of symptoms, including lightheadedness, tingling in your arms and legs, around your mouth, foggy thinking, and possibly fainting. Slowing your breathing rate and or breathing into a paper bag is usually all that's needed to bring your CO2 level back into a normal range and alleviate your symptoms. Sorry. A gradual drop in CO2 due to ongoing medical conditions. Okay, then that's pertinent. All right. Dangers of CO2, what you need to know. Carbon dioxide is a natural gas found in the atmosphere, which is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, indistinguishable by individuals. By volume, dry air contains approximately 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% argon, but only 0.04% carbon dioxide and small amounts of other gases. However, there are 3 ways carbon dioxide levels can be dangerous to individuals given high concentrations and exposure to the gas. Breathing in a sealed environment. Now, obviously, this is all done on if you are sealed in a room and all you're doing is breathing the oxygen that's trapped in that room. And obviously, as you breathe and you exhale, you're going to create carbon dioxide. Eventually, that oxygen in that sealed room is going to run out, and all you're going to have is carbon dioxide. So that, in essence, would be a sealed environment, I would assume, right? However, if your mask is constantly over your face, so your argument to somebody that would say, well, you're not in a sealed environment. Okay, very true. Very true. So if I'm not in a sealed environment, then why is it that hold on one second, sorry guys. I gotta click out of here. So if they say, well, you're not in a sealed environment, very, very true. Very, very true. However, if my mask doesn't cover my corners of my mouth and doesn't seal to my face, so on and so forth, that would be, I don't want this. So if, sorry about that. I should actually, I won't turn it down. But, I lost my train of thought. So if you are, had to take a drink of water, sorry. Okay, so if they say to you, oh, well, you aren't in a sealed environment. Yes, I understand that. However, my mask is not sealed to my face. So I don't have a sealed environment. Well, okay, well, that's the argument. Okay, well, see, you're not in a sealed environment. Right. So then you go back to the OSHA standard of saying, well, because you just admitted to your employer when you say this, well, if you bring that, okay, well, if they were to bring the argument, breathing in a sealed environment, you're not in a sealed room, you're not in a sealed capsule. I understand that. Okay, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm not in a sealed environment. However, that means that my mask is not my paper mask, my cloth mask, my sponge mask, is not sealed to my face, right? Well, no, because then you wouldn't be able to breathe. You would, okay, so you just said it, employer. You just said it. You said my mask is not sealed to my face because all I could breathe is carbon dioxide then, right? Right, boss? Yes, you're correct. So you have nothing to stand on. Wrong. Because now you bring up the OSHA regulations and you say, you just told me that I'm not in a sealed environment. Yes? Yes. You just told me that my mask is not sealed around my face. Yes? Yes. So then you throw the OSHA regs at him and you say, so this is my argument. You just told me that my mask is not sealed on my face. Yes? Yes. So therefore, here's the OSHA regulations that cloth masks, paper masks, sponge masks, are not filtering the air that I'm breathing. So therefore, you have to provide me with an N95 mask, which you're still wrong at that point, I think. But everybody's got to keep their job, man. I mean, I'm fortunate enough where I drive semi, I don't have this problem. But like I said, there's many articles I've been reading. I wouldn't say many. I've read a few articles over the last few weeks or a month that's stating that they're trying to make masks mandatory inside and out, like China. So therefore, you tell your employer, because the CDC, right in their website, oh, I should have, you know what? Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. I think it's actually in one of their articles on the making of your mask. There's a lot of stuff on the carbon dioxide. I was extremely shocked. Let's see. Where does it say? Oh, and another thing. Tell your employer, what's the company's cleaning policy? What's the protocol for your company? What is their cleaning protocol? I want to see that on paper. I want to see what the company's doing. It says at least, right? It said at least. I don't know where to say that. At least once a day, surfaces frequently touched by multiple people, which is your bathrooms, your lunchrooms, your doors, your stuff. This includes door handles, desks, so on and so on. So I already read that. But that's also another argument. What's the company's protocol for you guys protecting our safety? Because you're saying that the masks are for our safety, yes? You're saying that the masks are for our coworkers' safety, yes? Then where is your safety protocol for the disinfecting at least once a day? And then, so where does it say, where they say about was it here? Let's see, sorry. Darn it, I read it somewhere. I should have circled it. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Isolate the home. No. Staying at least 6 feet away. Cloth face covering, extra layer. Help prevent droplets. People 2 years. Was it here? Darn it, where was it? I'm sorry, guys. I should have circled it. It basically says that the N95 masks are basically held for the first responders and medical workers, which I get it, but your life is important too. So anyways, it's somewhere in here. I really want to find it. Let's see, under breathing. Since people's number 6 wearing them, face masks, face coverings, getting the virus from people, so on and so on and so on. Oh well, I'm sorry. So I should have actually put. I should have circled that part where it says that they're reserving. They're basically reserving the. Hold on one second. I can put you down for a second. So if you're required to wear a mask at work, or you're required to wear a mask, first off, don't go to the stores that are making masks mandatory. Go to one of their competitors, even if they have a higher price, man. Don't wear a mask, man, out in public. The proof I've just showed you from websites. This is hard facts, man. I'm not sitting on a lawn chair in the backyard drinking Milwaukee's Best, just talking out of the side of my mouth. These are all facts, man. These are all from websites. So the point being is, if you have to go into a place that requires a face mask, go to their competitor. Shut that business down, man. Don't be a monkey, man. Don't be a monkey. And if you are required or mandated to wear a mask at work, then you bring up the carbon dioxide to your employer and say you are endangering my public safety, which is a felony. And then they will say, well, you're not in a sealed environment. Correct. But my mask that is not sealed around my face, that does not seal to my face like a respirator, and I don't even think an N95 seals around your face. Well, especially if you have a beard. If you have a beard, or you have even a chin beard like myself, actually, I don't know. I think my chin beard would be okay. But say, for instance, you have a big beard, or if you're a woman and you have a big beard, that might be a problem. But if you have a beard and you go to don a respirator, say you have a goatee or you have a big, man beard that goes like a mustache into a goatee or a Fu Manchu or whatever they call it, your respirator will not seal. That's why you have to shave in the military, because if you're under a gas attack, and if anybody knows, if you want a fun fact, well, I don't know if it's fun, it's fact, but it might be a fun fact, but Hitler actually, which was a scumbag, Hitler, I guess, was actually a really good soldier when he was in the German military, or the German army. He actually he was from Austria. He tried to join the Austrian army, but he was too weak for his PT test. He could barely carry his, a big old wooden rifle or whatever. But at the time, that's why he was so mad at Austria. That's why when he first became dictator of Germany, the first people he went after was Austria, because he was upset with them. So he basically joined the German army because they were accepting anybody. Well, there was a thing called a trench runner. And a trench runner would take a note from one commander, say a company or battalion commander, and he would basically run out in the open to get to another foxhole and keep running it over until he could deliver the note to another commander. And it was a very dangerous job because people would actually shoot at you and you could die. Well, Hitler actually volunteered for this position. And I guess he was a really good soldier. Well, anyways, the point of this is, and it's about his mustache. When they were just sitting around in their foxholes one day, there was a gas attack. And Hitler used to have a real big mustache that went down the sides of his face. He never had that little silly little mustache under his nose. It was a large, kind of like a biker's mustache that went down the side of his face. Well, when they came under chemical attack, he went to don or put on his face mask, and it wouldn't seal. He almost died. And the reason why it didn't seal was because of his big mustache. So immediately after he recovered, he immediately shaved off his mustache, his biker mustache, and went with the little goofy little mustache underneath his nose. And it's fact. You can look it up. So anyways, when you talk to your employer, you tell them you're endangering my public safety. And your employer is going to come back, and I know I've already said this, but I'm going to reiterate it. Your employer comes back, well, you're not in a sealed environment. Well, carbon dioxide is very dangerous. You can kill me, so on and so on. But you're not in a sealed environment. Okay, so you're saying I'm not in a sealed environment, yes? Yes. Okay, so then you bring out the OSHA standards and you say, well, you're only providing me with a paper or a cloth mask, or you're telling me I have to provide my own mask. Well, you as an employer, it's your responsibility to provide the masks. And when you show them, he or she or they, the OSHA guidelines, and I'm pretty sure a lot of OSHA standards are pretty much OSHA around the country are the same. You say, well, my mask that you provide me and you require me and you mandate me to wear isn't doing anything. Here's the facts. Here's the facts. And go, if you're union, go to your union steward. Go to this, because wearing a mask I'm sure it's dangerous, man. At the end of the day, it's dangerous. So bring that up and talk to him, and then tell him, yeah, you just told me I wasn't in a sealed environment. So this mask that you provide me, or you tell me I have to bring and provide, well, this isn't right. It's not fitting. It's not meant to filter air. That's the whole argument on this. And then maybe let's go after the states, man, because they're recklessly endangering our safety, man, at the end of the day. So that's the whole point of the video, is to tell you guys there are ways out of it, I would assume, if you're forced to wear a mask. And the more of us that band together, like I said in other videos, the analogy is, because I drive semi, we don't have enclosed trailers, we have all flatbed. But if you have an enclosed trailer and you have one stick of butter in the inside of that trailer, and you go down the street, that big semi is easy to stop. But if you have hundreds of thousands of sticks of butter in that same trailer and it's maxed out completely to capacity, and you go down that road, it's a lot harder to stop. So the people, we need to start banding together, man. And I'm not talking about a militia. I'm not talking about, let's peacefully assembly. They've already taken those rights away, and so on and so on. But give me a call, 414-477-7845. I think I'm up to 20 calls now. So give me a call. Let's talk and fight for your damn rights, man. And let's see what we can do. I hope this video finds you well. And please, if you like the content, please share and like the channel and subscribe, please. Thank you. Ciao.